Alright, how's it going, everybody? Welcome over to Sambongo Dragon Season 3. I know a lot of you people out there right now are live streaming all at the same time. What's going on? That's pretty cool. Sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of video games being played, a lot of music being played. And I'm just going to quickly do a check here because I might have to tune my guitar on stream here for you. Interrupt our actual something or other that we're doing here. Sorry. Just gonna make sure I get a sense for it. I got the audio levels just fine at the moment. Maybe I'll turn it down just a touch to make sure that I can actually hear myself and or you can hear yourself think over some of the feedback. So, not so famously, just a few years back, I started writing some music. I decided to make it in a hip-hop fashion style because I thought the electric guitar was completely capable of keeping up with all the necessary effects and fine features that hip-hop includes. And it just so happens to be, it was one of the greatest discoveries I ever made musically. Educationally, all that stuff, including just music theory and the guitar and all that. It turned out to be as sound as it would ever get. Shakespeare himself would have been impressed had they heard of such things. Anyway, back in the day, though, with Shakespeare and whatnot, Macbeth and, a Midsummer's Night Dream, they were testaments to womankind, testaments to a love interest, or even a single acquiring of a brief relationship during the play itself. The investment was total and whole, and so that's definitely why I mention it. Anyway, so of course, I'm going to go through some of the stuff I play. I'm going to add a little bit of style and a little bit of what I did earlier, a couple of years back. I know it's not exactly what I did in the last 4 episodes, but this is episode 5. So let's see what we can change about everything. And I'll get the style going and the tone set just correctly. Hang on. This is a tone I've used very little of in a long time, but it's a huge inspiration to whether or not I was able to play, and it just takes me back to the day when I was a lot younger, more dreamy about the guitar, and more things about it that I wanted to do. So let's waste no more time and get into it. I'm going to start playing right away, and then I'm going to put a backtrack on over top of it. So I would used to play a lot of things like that back in the day, before I had any real title ideas or anything that really truly sought me interest into the future of actually pursuing anything to do with the music itself. Back in the day, I used to just throw a big guitar solo straight into the air and see what happens. And that is exactly what I had just done. I like to use the effects like reverb, delay, tape echo, tremolo, phaser, all kinds of things. And what I like to do for those is I like to turn the bass almost all the way down. Not all the way down, but very low. I like to turn the bass quite low. I've come to the habit of turning it up quite a bit now. Maybe 1 or 2 extra notches, almost right in the middle. I'll keep the bass up. I'm going to turn the middle one down to about just a notch above the bass, and I'm going to turn the treble one maybe 2 from the top. Just 2 or at the 9, right below it. And I got the drive. I'm going to turn the drive down to about 7. Something kind of tone friendly, something clean that can really cut through the actual sound of the guitar that we got going on. I'm going to turn the delay nice and high, not too high, but definitely nice and high. And I'm going to turn the reverb nice and low so that it only complements it. And let's see what kind of guitar solo action I'm able to get out of it. Let's see here. So much like that. Something I would like to slowly evolve over the future of playing and just keep playing and really not worry about what each note sounds like and really get adventurous with what each note might lead you to next. That's how you start to feel the adventure of spanning across your mind and everything else in your life, really. Okay, so I'm going to turn the backtrack on. I'm going to adjust the tone to fit just right for one of these kind of things. And I'm going to try to follow along with the song, break through with a nice solo, and then end it nice and quickly and see what goes on. Alright, so I jumped up there about twice, threw out some chords, and I believe that backtrack sounded pretty cool, if you ask me. It sounded really chill. Got a lot of cool vibes coming from it. Let's try it again with another one. Maybe another one that's really demanding for some extra vibe and attention. Before we ever even get to the actual playing of the backtrack, you gotta be able to give it some extra inspiration, extra oomph, extra real drive and go. So it was a pretty cool backtrack. It's got a lot of jazz vibe to it. Super bluesy, really awesome. And it definitely required for a very light touch. And sometimes when you're picking with your guitar, you have the difference between using basically the whole pick from the very back, just going really hard, hold and make sure you got the whole thing, and just flicking it away as hard as you can. Like a pickaxe in some stone, or you have it where you're holding it in your finger, and you're literally just trying to pass the tip of the very pick over top of the round section of the little string itself. So the difference of sound in that sense, this is called a pick attack, right? And this is what it sounds like differently, anyway. So this is what it sounds like to really hit the string. it sounds like to really lightly pick the string just across the roundature of the actual string. So it sounds like the string is actually not being played or hit, but in fact just the fact that you're leaving the string from with the pick and you're letting it leave behind is the sound it makes. And so when you hit the string with the string, if you do it with the pick, if you do it fast enough, you can really make the sound of that note in its natural state, because typically you're bending it out of its position just to play it. Now, and that's a really finite structure for guitar players, and you will notice it just a little while you do play it, especially in chords and whole chords. But of course, it's not as important as it is the style of backtrack that you are playing. So choose one that is within your range. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. And so we're just going to play a bit of acoustic guitar, and I'm going to show you a bit of pick attack stuff on that right now. So you got a bit of acoustic action going on, and all you did was play maybe one or two chords. That's the way I like to keep it. I like to keep it nice and simple if I can help it. But I like to bend my strings, and it takes them way out of tune. So let me just hammer that flat for you. It's much better. Anyway. Okay, so I'm going to show you. With the simple addition of just a slight adjustment to the pick attack, the way you hit the string, you're going to add some percussion sound, a bit of a booming roar, a little bit of a sustained notation sound, and a bit of a drone, and a bit of a tremolo, a bit of a picking action that goes a little fast, just like flamenco style says. And we're going to see if we can encompass all of that with just a few chords. And let's just pick any ones that we want, right? So yeah, that's an acoustic guitar with some extra pick attack. So of course you can choose as many chords playing as you like. You can play on each chord for as many bars as you like. But the most important thing is the fact that you really feel what you're saying. You know what you're trying to feel when you do say it. And before you say it or after you say it, you have managed to at least conclude the feeling and of course, and actually have what you meant to say. There's supposed to be some kind of surety to the modern music that you make. That's at least my opinion. Maybe there's some other opinions out there. You should have a surety to what you're saying, just a little, and not just aim to hit the fret. You know, you are aimed to just hit the fret and get that, but that's for confidence. It's not to be mistaken with other tactics in the world to give you the confidence necessary to do so. And so, of course, I'm going to pick another backtrack and see what we can make. Hang on. So that felt pretty good to me. I like it. That was a lot of fun. And I hope you're learning lots of things, because if you see what I'm saying, maybe you don't have to watch every episode of what I'm talking about, but maybe you'll notice that there's some value to it, and the pick attack, and the scales used, and the key signatures held, and the tone of the song followed along when you choose to melodicize and when you choose to sustain notes. I hope those things can all become equally shared experiences, so that you know more the next time you try, the next time you think, the next time you listen. And hopefully we can expand that possibility to a broader future. And I do have a technology on my computer called Easy Drummer. And Easy Drummer makes that very possible, because it's just drums. And we'll be doing that very soon, but like right now, I'm really liking this one. So this may be the last episode for the first little while that I actually do with the backtracks. But these backtracks are very fun. And I do have my favorite one right here, and it's already preloaded up. So just like the episode before, that was a bit of my tub dub drum track. I can't really show you the camera, I don't want to angle it to it right now, but it says tub dub, that's what it's called. And so I'm going to turn over here to the acoustic, I'm going to tune it down to a drop D, and I'm going to play out some blues guitar. Hang on tight, hold on, let's see what we can get out of here. And maybe we screech out of here right over to the guitar theory, and we start learning exactly what it is we're trying to say. Alright, I really hope you learned something there, guys. We'll be passing right over to the guitar theory section. I'm going to charge my camera up and I'll make sure it's still going nice and strong, and this has been a lot of fun so far. So let's do the DIY part after this, and maybe what I can do is I can pull up Easy Drummer on that and really introduce us to some kind of next level drum section for you and what it takes to actually make a melody complement itself with such added instruments that maybe you're not so familiar with playing, but maybe all you need is just one ting of a crasher bell. You know what I mean? Alright, I'm going to turn off everything that I need to turn off and get right to it. Hang on. Hey, yeah, looking good again, buddy. That's right, a compliment for myself. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Move this on over here, and we're going to pull up the E major scale. Now, E major scale is the scale in the key of E, basically. But it's actually the E of the key of whatever the standardized tuning to it is, because the standardized tuning is leading on the standard itself. So this is a guitar fretboard in the key of E major, which means we hit the E on every single root, and we follow the E major scale according to the next octave up. We don't worry about going back, and we don't sharpen, we don't flatten, and we don't miss out the notes, if you can tell, or notice right away at least. From the root finger, you got the next string open, and you got one way behind it somewhere, for some reason. So let's take for example, let's go with this number 12. 12 is good for an example. Let's go with 12. I like 12. So you take your root finger, that's where this is, and the next string over is here, and then the next string you play is the one all the way back here. It's pretty interesting, right? And then this one here, and then this one here, and then you play this one all the way back here, and all the way here, and then you get to this one. So this is an E major scale because we have majored on the root of E. Hence we're talking about such pick attack and timing and rhythms to get to the point of purpose in the first place. Okay. So we're just going to take that in for a minute. Basically, if I told you this is the only range of freedom I want you to play on. Now, most guitarists and pianists or any instrumentalists, they practice one scale for an extremely long amount of time. Sure, they break the scale, they change the scale free as will as they like, because they're bored and they're just always doing something. But I want you to play only one scale. I would say play the E major scale, of course, right? But I would say play only these ones. And now you got a bunch of open strings here. You got one between here that you can't use. That's quite interesting. You got one between here and here that you can't use. You got here, here, and here you can't use. Doesn't make any sense. But then you got here. And this will explain it nicely. This is... Jeez, hang on. All of the titled frets. And what you got are flats, sharps, and you got double naturals, and you got double sharps, I think, somewhere right here. Let's see if we can find a double sharp. I mean, I don't think we have them, but... No, yeah. If you notice, there are no two frets that are both sharp and flat on either side of it. It wouldn't work. It doesn't make sense, right? But there are ones that are natural. So it's kind of like if you had chemistry and you said there's electrons going around both two atoms, and they both are negative atoms. If they're both negative, they don't bother going to each other. But if one's a positive, one's a negative, they might go together. Especially if they need one or the other. They could react volatile. And that's kind of what the problem is. So you don't have any of the flats or sharps that are connected together. Not forward and backward, but up and down, you have lots of sharps and flats. In fact, right here on the 11th fret, you have only sharps and flats. Ooh, that one's interesting. And it is interesting, actually, because if you look at the natural arrangement, if it does scale upwards eventually, the natural anomaly of there being only flats and sharps here is measured out just perfectly to the instrument itself, guitar. So weird. And now if you were to play in the key of E major, you would play in a sequence that allows you to reach the E upon the first and or the second major. Now the major here is major, major, minor, minor, major, minor, diminished. 7. You got 2 majors, 2 minors, 1 major, 1 minor, 1 diminished. That's how you make the all of them 7. So if you look A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you would count those as that way. But you won't have to. You would actually just count those at individual levels of which they contain a key signature themselves. Even if for some reason we chose to play them on a different string each and a different octave up each, and of which case makes it quite confusing. But to get rid of that confusion of the whole, like, you know, notation and face system, the system where it says this is your face, right? F would end up being a entire step away from the A. In fact, it would be 2 steps away from the A on the string, and then the next note. Even though it says it's only that far away, it's actually got a G in between it, even though there would be a G flat, or an F sharp, or an A flat, or a G sharp. So it's 2 whole steps away. That's where the confusion comes in when you play the E major scale, which is this structure, and it's playing off of a structure that is more complicated, like something kind of like the entire fretboard, right? So now that you have the entire fretboard before you, you realize that there's no flat, flat, no sharp, sharp. They're not next to each other, but they're up and down. So you have a complication where you can go up and down, and it does break all the rules, just like we said. And now we're good and free. But that's why you can play A, B, C, D, E, F, G without crossing the manner or spectrum of major, major, minor, minor, major, minor, diminished. G is not a diminished note. E is not a major. A is not a major. D is not a minor. You know what I mean? Like, these are not in any particular order. That's just the note. That's just the instrument. Instrument means tool. It's a tool. Instrument. So, with that visualization very much easier to look at, we're going to go over to this one. And now this is the same thing. Just imagine this is as easy to look at as the other one. And it should be, because there's a lot less things. But this here contains E, played on a major, up from the initial tuning of E, making it one note in on the second major. E, E. Which means the bottom string always plays the second E. Which means there's two E's. E, E. That's crazy, right? Well, now you go up here, right? You go up here, and that's supposed to be another E. Only problem is it's the first E in the sequence to be played from the open string here, making it the first major in the sequence, E, E. And we have not even determined there to be a second E. It's not like the chord progression was E, E something. Typically you don't say both E's, but sometimes you do, because majors and majors. So if you wanted a major and a minor E, you would put another E afterwards, but how would you do that? Well, you wouldn't. You would play an E minor. And that's the complicated part. Because say you want an E and a minor, an E major and an E minor in the song, because you do have technically an E and an E. What you'll have to do is work between the algorithm here. Not the algorithm, but the space-time continuum of whether or not the first E is even there. The first E isn't actually there. This one is, and this is just the second major. It's moved up a step. So if you play this note here and it's higher sounding, it's supposed to be higher sounding, but it's higher, and that's why this E is keeping up to it. And now there is no other E on the fretboard according to it. You can't just move down to an E flat or an E sharp. But it's keeping up with the octave away of the pentatonic structure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So E to E, there's a pentatonic structure right there. And so within the pentatonic, you can find easily an E minor, and it just involves a separate set of rules, a separate set of flats and sharps, where E minor might involve an F flat or F sharp and a G. E major might involve a G and an A flat, or a G sharp and a G. G and a G sharp. That's crazy, right? But it is a natural arrangement that it might involve A sharp and A, or A flat and A. Something weird like that, right? But you want to add both. And if you do have both, you would need an E minor scale. This is an E major scale. So we would be pulling up another one. So instead of doing that, we're going to start here and say this is what your new cheat sheet looks like. All you gotta know is this one's E, and don't worry about the other stuff later. And just make sure you get to that E by the time the major happens. And if that's what it's doing, then what you want to do is play each note in a mathematical amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're getting to the E. Boom, make sure you play that E next. And now you're skipping all the notes, and you play just those ones. Boom, just the black dots. And you're skipping right to it. You're not thinking, and I do it all the time. You see my fingers skip between things all the time. And that is exactly what you're doing. So sometimes I play two of the same next to each other, and they both happen to be major, and it feels like I need a big spot of emptiness. And I like the idea of a nice, clean, crystal clear, empty, gassing spot of energy, and that's why I do it. So this is the E major scale, and major is the first and minor is the second. So if you were to do the same thing with a minor scale, which you can and you're supposed to, and that's exactly what I do when I play certain other things. In fact, I have two spots now, right? Well, in fact, I like the idea of these spots in containing each other, so that one spot has another thing in there. It's like a two-factor security system, right? If you're there to protect something, you got one room around it, and then you got another. It's like a room with a safe in it, and inside that safe is something else that you're trying to keep, right? Call it a brick of gold if you want. Anyway, so that's what the E major scale is for. Now, if you had an A major scale or C major scale, sure, the arrangement of the dots will change according to the amount it takes to get in between each one that leads to a major, or whether or not it's a minor. Because there would be two in the front or one in the top. Now the top one up here also exists as a 1 or a 2. It exists as a 2. That's because, well, this is the middle string, right? These are the middle ones. Well, the middle ones are tuned to a D and a G. They're quite fancy. Why can't they be the first ones? And if you look at the if you look at the structure of notes, I gotta find the one where it says face. Face! Anyway, you would notice that there's no G or D in here, but there's a G and a D over there, right? And that means the G is right here, and the D is right here. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you were to add 2 more to this number of 4 to make 6, you put 1 right here and 1 right here, you would have a D and a G. And what's in between D and G? Well, between D and G is A and B and C. A, B, C. So mathematically, it equates to the 1, 2, 3 of standardized chord design, root, third, and fifth, all according to the 5 of actual standardized notation, all according to the proper structure of tablature that allows you to contain 6. Oh God, I don't know what tablature is. Tablature, which allows you to contain 6 strings on the actual bar of reading, as well as whether or not the notation that you are working on currently, the major and or the minor, is in sequence with the raw standard tuning of the instrument itself. Which leads you to G being the treble clef. And now, if G is the treble clef, if you look up here, the top of this G, right, this treble clef looks like a G, right? But the very top of it looks like a cursively written D. It looks like a D. In fact, right along there, there should be a D. So right in the middle, you got a D and a G. And it's one of the easier ways to understand the fretboard, or at least not the fretboard, but the raw sense of music theory. So that concludes most of our lesson in the hard form of paperwork. And now we're going to move right over here quickly to a nice and simple structure that we can easily start to remember everything at once. So we have everything here laid out before you just play it. You got your flats up here and you just got to know which one it is to choose. So if these are in order, all you got to be doing is constantly counting which order you're going in and what comes next. Now if you're moving really fast, it might be difficult, and that's when you keep practicing and you get better and you realize that you counted in one of them and you add it next time, or the time that you count it in, you count it in. So you practice everything and it doesn't sound right and it sounds okay, but then it sounds better. And that's why rehearsal is so important and practice is so important. But if you want to just be able to hit the notes and make it sound the way it's supposed to sound, you got to select the notes first. So if you're selecting them as you go, according to the normal natural scale right here, C to C, C to other C, or way back here, you'll be counting that that's a major, and then this is a major, and then up here is a minor, and that's why it's not there. You go back to the major. Because even though it's the same note, it might not be ready to play in a weird sense. That's kind of weird, right? But of course, if you're on time, and you're counting the 4/4, and you're in structure, it should be ready to play, obviously, because that's what it will be there. It will be the same sound, and it will be ready to play. But it might sound a little different, unless, of course, you're right on time. And that's where the finite tuning of a seasoned player finds that you can still make that subtle mistake and be ready for it. But timing itself actually adds the ability for you to change whether or not you're playing a minor into a major. If you played a minor chord at the major time, it might just come off as a flattened chord. Right? That's why when I play an E minor chord, I don't say it's an E flat. I just play an E minor, and I play in the E minor spectrum that I can choose. But I also leave it as quick as I have to. So sometimes you don't get the ability to play exactly what you want, and you have to give your body over to the music in order to accept the sound it makes. And once you listen to it, of course you can accept the sound it makes because it's just music and it sounds great, it sounds fun. And that's the true purpose of it, is opening your mind and eventually your ability to create those things. And instead of playing just an E minor and an E major and then playing in that spectrum alone, you have every single one of these options in every single one of those octaves according to a structure that is mapped out, separated by the majors and minors, allowing you to elaborate upon with diminished chords and augmented chords, which is like overlapping 6 of these together, which by the end should look just like this, only even more complicated because the sections of which this C and this B do not contain the information that there is a C flat. And C flat is a very existent chord. Same with B sharp. B sharp is a very existent chord, and yet it's not here or there or there or there. So of course, why didn't I have one that said both? I actually don't have one that says both, because the standardized tuning, just like how you would start on the very, let me see where I am, hang on, just like where you would start here on the E major, but it's the second note in, and yet this one is an E major, and it's the first note in between the next section, and you just have to play from back here to lead up to the next note in the octave present above it versus the octave across from it, is where the spectrum changes according to each section of the E major that you add, and is why the standardized tuning starts from a base point that leads you at a single first major position. Even though this one could be a second single first major position, and yet it's not the second major, it is just a major, and there happens to be 2 in the first section of the sequence. So that's definitely the convolution to the complication of why you play major, major, minor, minor, major, minor, and then diminished. According to, of course, whether or not that makes any level of a chord design at all, in any key signature at all. So of course, you can take a piano and you can apply the very same 1, 3, 5 and make a chord out of C, E flat or D sharp, and F. Boom, boom, boom. Or C, E, G, and make a chord. And a really weird chord, but those are 2 just very different chords, and I use them all the time. And that is definitely a part of the mystery of playing guitar, because sometimes I play a power chord, And you see just 2 fingers on the fretboard, but then I put a pinky up, and I got 3 on there all of a sudden. You're like, what is that? And it's the power chord and another power chord using the middle root. 1, 3, 5 in a sense. And I just think it's a very broad spectrum kind of structure that I like to add to whatever I do, because maybe it's not perfect to add to everything, and sometimes it stands out a little too strong. But I also believe that it adds its own personality, and we get some more places to run with it. Instead of just using the E minor spectrum, I got a weird chord like that I can use, right? It's like a running chord. You can run with that chord. And it's made out of 2 power chords, so you got 2 power chords in it. You got lots of energy to go. And you got a sus, and you got octave, and you got pentatonic scales in between just those 2, plus you got at least 2 majors of the major scale. So every now and again I play a running chord, and that's what I'm going to show you next. Okay, so if I'd play a power chord, just 2 fingers on the fretboard, and I put a 3rd one on just in order like that. It might sound a little bit like this. Let's try it out. So it's a really simple structure, but it's got a lot of life to it. It's got a lot of range for you to move around in, and you can solo along it. That's the primary purpose for it. So anyway, look at my pretty ass fretboard. You see all that stuff? Pearls and stuff? Not bad. Anyway, I'm gonna open up Easy Drummer. I can find it. Hang on. So this is Easy Drummer 3. It came out in 2023? Yeah, it came out in 2023. Now I'm going to move this over. Hang on. Boom! We're looking good. So I'm going to go to the main room. I like the main room. But I'm going to go to the tight room. I'm going to go over to the grooves. I'm going to pick a style. Here's the section. This is the style. I'm going to go with hip-hop. I'm going to go with the beat section. I'm going to put that down here, and I'm going to see what that sounds like. Just added, all on its own, to whatever I'm playing. Alright, so much like I said, there's like a simple chord. There's a simple structure of the chord where you want to play just, one or two chords and just kind of go down on the sound or up on the sound. And then, of course, there's the runaway chord. And it's a chord that you might splice half of them together with. Maybe use it as a fill, like a chord as a fill, which is very impactful in my playing when I play the things that I play. And I'm going to put some kind of video over here. Now, if you had a little video of something that you absolutely loved, maybe you could find something that you can put together, and let's see what happens when I make it that way. Hang on. I gotta take my mic with me, hang on. Okay. So, minimize this, shuffle this across to the side, yep. Close that. And this is our little video of our song that we just took. It's very loud. Sorry. My head looks very big in that one. That's normal. My head should look pretty big. I'm an alien. I wasn't an alien always, but there was like a small weird thing that happened a while ago and I was turned into an alien. Okay, so here we go. From the first note. Just like so, yes. We're going to cut it there. Delete that thing. Move it over. Slap that over. And where's the last note? That was the last note. We're going to cut that. Slap that over. And now let's duplicate this about 4, 5, 6 times. And let's click here. Let's slap that in half. Boom. And let's see what this makes.
Making pancakes. Take the bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Take the bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Making pancakes. Making pancakes.
Cooking some bacon pancakes. And I made our small little Easy Drummer thingy. And the Easy Drummer thing sounds really great. Let me hear it one more time. Let's hit play. I'm gonna hit play on that.
Cakes, making pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes.
So what I got is I have Easy Drummer here. And the beat allows you to play this beat here. It's got these weird rolls to it. And it's really awesome hip-hop style on a raw, clean drum. And I add it to bacon pancakes, which naturally sounds just like...
That's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancake. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake.
Which is only 2 chords or 3 chords on a bass. So there's only 3 chords. I have the perfect idea to add to it in the minor structure. I'm going to add my one and let's hear what it sounds like.
Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. In a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pan.
Alright. So that's bacon pancakes. And I think it worked out just fine, actually. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this bacon pancakes, and we're not going to like solo over it, but maybe we can add a little bit more to make sure that it's really popping. It's a little bit longer than I thought it would be. It really depends. Maybe I don't have to. Doodly-doo-doo-doo-doo. We're fully loaded. That was successfully loaded, properly imported. Here we are. Our little file. We're going to leave it right there. I'm going to move this just up to it, like so. Click. Come on, click.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon.
I think that's good enough as is. Once again, the DIY is it's a rather simple project. It does mean do it yourself, you know, just you get it done yourself, my friend, because well, we want you to get it done yourself too. Anyway, so I gotta find it here. 33, yes. So click and drag over here. Come over here, quick, see what's going on. Continue on stream, blah 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 blah. Scan, download Microsoft Edge. Scan. I don't want to scan anything. God. Bacon and cake. Alright. So, no, it's not for children. I know, despite it being Jake's dog. And that is bacon pancakes. So what do you know? Not so complicated. All you need is a simple drum app and a few power chords. So we have an app for drums. And I happen to be the Sambongo Dragon, just lucky enough to own a Line 6 Spider Jam. Now, they only made like 2 of these in all of Canada, but Canada's a small place, you see. It's the second biggest country in the world, but it's a small second biggest country in the world. The population is very limited. And I got a drum track on here. I got a bunch of drum tracks. And we have backtracks and drum tracks. So here's a drum track. I'm going to see what kind of DIY action we can get out of that. Let's see what we do here. You ready? I liked it. Let me try recording it onto the machine, the app, or the amp, and see what happens. so I'm glad you were listening. I don't know what happened, why my mic is so sensitive right now, but maybe it's not actually doing what it looks like it's doing. And let's record what we're recording. Alright, and once more, that concludes the section of our DIY. I'm going to turn off the other mic. I think I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I don't know. Naturally, I've always liked feedback. In my first original song on my channel, the one that got 33,000 views. Holy crap. And yet no really significant following. Sad but true. No significant following or anything, but 33,000 views. I played off of the feedback. I loved the original factor that maybe anything I played was a natural version of what I was trying to do, and it just fought me. So I liked it. I loved it, and I made a little song for it, of course. But it's been frustrating. Some of the feedback. Maybe it's not actually doing what it looks like it's doing, and let's record what we're recording. Alright, so I'm going to close this. Let me see. Let me cut that. What is this song? Back in my first original. Alright, so we got our song there, and now we just need for the final piece of the puzzle. That's right, you guessed it. One more time, we're making bacon pancakes. You ready for this? Boom, 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 boom. Princess Bubblegum just has to know what's going on in there. She's going crazy. And let's hear what it sounds like. You ready for this? Let me move on. Hang on. Move this over here.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes.
So if I put all of that up to 200, hang on.
Making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's make bacon pancakes. Making pancakes, making pancakes. Takes a big
Okay, so maybe I'm just going to take the frame on each one and shuffle it up to about, that size, so that we can see the playing, because it looks like it's pretty good, or at least pretty fun sounding. And if it's fun, I don't see why we would mess with its original beauty, right? So original beauty is what we're talking here. And again, why would we even keep Jake the dog, right?
pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes.
And among the songs that we are making, let's import this bad boy. And we're downloading for the second time in this video. Whoa, what is that? Double DOI. I really need a haircut. Holy crap, I didn't notice how bad my hair was getting. I used to have a mohawk, so it always grows a lot stronger in the middle, in this like weird long line. I'm gonna shave my head pretty soon, or at least shave it down to like a buzz, and then I'm gonna let it grow back again and see what shape it takes, and hopefully it does not do it again. But that's just my words for it. So I know there's other guys out there who have had this hairline problem where they cut their own hair and it stayed that way. Hey, you, I don't like the way you're going. Let me change it for you. Also bacon pancakes. No, not for made for children. Public, yes, hair is fun. And we are uploading 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, and 100% upload. Complete processing will begin shortly. And there are our DIY uploads for today. And this has been a very fun episode. Let me play us out on the guitar here. I got a lot of things to play. And I swear I turned that off myself. I really hope so. And yeah, maybe I'll just use the same backtrack. All right, and for the slowest sign off ever, guys, don't do drugs, stay in school, keep that September rolling, keep October on the way. We know it's almost here already, and there's no reason for you guys to feel so blue because Halloween's on its way, among all the other things that are great in life, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, a chance to remember our fallen veterans in the November Remembrance Day, among New Year's, where you get to make your resolutions and even take off on the same foot to the next classes and semesters and the turns of autumn and summer and spring and winter into perfect another spring and summer. So, of course, guys, get the exercise you need. Get outdoors, get some fresh air. Fresh air is the absolute energy of your life. And, of course, lay off any of that coffee if you can. Quit smoking, get rid of all that nonsense, and we'll see you guys around on the Sambongo Dragon. I hope you guys had a lot of good fun, and if you're still watching, I hope this gets me closer to the hours I need in order to contain my monetization. That's what I'm trying to talk about here. And we'll see you next time on the Sambongo Dragon. Goodbye, brother. I love you guys. You guys are great. And enjoy your new life like I do. Yep. I got something here in a can. Cheers, my friends. Cheers. I know there's no children watching, and if there are, you better start making yourself known. That way I can tone down some of the other stuff that is not. I didn't put an M rating on here. Matured content only. See you around, guys.